Hello everyone, this is Captain Dave and Miss Brooke coming at you from the mothership, the home office of Prime Incorporated in Springfield, Missouri. We are finally back together. It's been a long journey. We have been separated a good bit of the last, I guess 4 or 5 months with me coming to orientation first and then starting my PSD and my TNT. And for the last month, I have been finishing my TNT on the road training, and Brooke has been here in Springfield, and she's been doing the PSD process, or working toward getting her CDL license. So we wanted to visit with you today, let you know that we're just so relieved to be back together. We can do it, we can be apart, we can be separated, but we sure don't like it, and we both recognize that we do a whole lot better together than we do apart. So that part is over for us now. We should be together from here on out, and wanted to share with you what's been going on, where we are, and give you an update on the training and what's to come. Right?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I'll start first. I came in Saturday night. I had probably done 2,000 or 3,000 more miles than I needed to, but our fleet manager needed to route us through North Carolina to pick up a load that would bring us into Springfield to be able to drop me off. My trainer, Jacob, continued on with the load to Joplin, Missouri, and picked up another load, taking him on home to Louisiana. So he's on a couple weeks of well-deserved home time.
I was glad for that.
Yeah, I definitely want to give him thanks again for finishing my training. He did a great job, and I'll always be appreciative to him for that. So I got here on Saturday night, and I started the upgrade process at 7 o'clock Monday morning. I went to the campus inn, and I had my safety class, which takes 2 or 3 hours. You watch a bunch of videos on safe driving, that kind of thing. And then we did one simulation. I know others in other training classes have done more, but each of us had to do a simulation, an alley dock in the simulator to demonstrate that we were able to back up. The instructor told us we had one practice round, and then we had to do it for real. If you passed on the practice round, you didn't have to go on. And I did. I would say it was a pretty easy exercise. You could pull up as many times as you wanted. So got that out of the way, went to lunch, then came over, and in the afternoon we had an automatic transmissions class, which covers how to drive efficiently for fuel mileage, and basically how to drive the truck to get the most out of it. That took an hour or hour and a half, and then we ended the day later in the afternoon with a presentation by Abacus, which is the accounting firm here at Prime, and they gave us a class on how to set up your business, whether you want to do sole proprietorship, an LLC. You can also do S Corp or C Corp, all different things that I really knew nothing about. But after the presentation and talking with several people, we've settled in on an LLC that we will be starting for ourselves, and it's going to be called Simple Plan Trucking, just like our YouTube channel. So then that was it for Tuesday morning. I had to come in for an early morning class for the slingshot class, Slingshot into Business, where they teach you, how to be efficient, how to manage your PM profit and loss, how to control expenses, basically giving you a class on it's a jump start on how to run profitably from the get-go. And I thought that was just great information. I could sit through the class again just because it was so good, and in fact I probably will come back and listen to all that information again.
I was just going to ask, are you allowed to sit through it again?
I don't see why not. There's another class that comes up next. They encourage us to come back in 5 or 6 weeks, and it's called, it's the second half, or it's part 2 of the slingshot class, so I may come in for that one as well. So after that, you send an email to Success Leasing, and you say that you have finished all of your computer-based training modules, you've taken all of the classes, and basically you've met all the requirements you need for upgrade, they send you an email back that says, congratulations, you are now an A seat, and you are basically on the list. Now, I've not seen my name on the list yet for a truck. Not really too sure how that's going to work. Maybe it'll be on the list tomorrow. There are many people on the list right now, and I'm sure I'll be waiting at least a few more days to get a truck, but that's okay. I'm in line now, and however long it takes, it's going to take. So that's it for me on my update on where I am. I'm going to ask Brooke now to talk about her adventure from arriving 3 weeks ago for orientation and then PSD. What's going on?
So where do you want me to start?
You tell me. Have you enjoyed the process?
I have actually enjoyed the process. I didn't have any idea what to expect, so had a very open mind about what I was getting myself into. It was a little intimidating at first because I haven't done something on my own like this far from home in a long time. Since, I don't know, maybe 20-something years.
Maybe ever, right?
No, I went to college, so...
Yeah, I went away to college.
But, yeah, that's how long it's been. My first surprise when I got here and I got checked in was that I had a roommate. So, had no idea that was going to happen. So I had a conversation with David about that. He said he suspected that I might, but he sort of put off letting me know about that.
What I knew and had forgotten was that prior to COVID, they used to have, you doubled up. You had 2 people to a room when you were here for orientation and for PSD, but when I came, it was all single rooms. And I forgot about that, but when I went back on the road, my trainer reminded me that they had gone back to roommates. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to call.
Right before I got here.
I had to break the news to Brooke. So I did give her a heads up, I guess, the day before she got here that it was likely that she would have a roommate. She was not happy about that, but...
I wasn't not happy, I just was surprised.
Yeah.
And I will say I lucked out. I have a terrific roommate. When you come, if you do get a roommate, I'm going to suggest that you be respectful of the other person. We had very conflicting schedules. I was getting up very early in the morning, and she didn't have her PSD time on the pad till later in the afternoon. We're outside.
Please forgive us. There will be some interruptions like that.
So our times again were conflicting, but so I was getting up in the middle of the morning and she didn't have to get up to the afternoon, so I tried to be respectful with what lights I used. I tried to be quiet in the morning. I tried to be respectful of her sleep patterns or her study patterns and vice versa. We did very good at compromising on what temperature to keep the room. The messes that we made, we tried to keep confined and kind of stay to our own space, that kind of thing. So mostly I just say, be compromising, be respectful, take into consideration what the other person's needs, maybe to sleep or, do they like the air cold or warm? So little things like that make a lot of difference because when I heard other people talk about their roommate situation, they definitely were not as blessed as I was to have my wonderful roommate. So, and I think I made a friend there for sure with my roommate.
So you had 1 week of orientation.
1 week of orientation was next. The biggest thing I think with orientation was I think it's called CBTs.
Computer-based training modules.
Computer-based training modules, and there was, I think, like 53 or 59 of those. They had just added like 7 more than they had previously. And basically you log onto the computer and you watch different videos. Some of the videos had a little test afterwards. Some of them didn't. Some of them you just checked off your list that you watched it. I would suggest that those labs are open 24 hours. I would suggest that get those modules done as soon as possible. Take the time to get up early and stay late and just power through them. There's a lot to learn. A lot of them were interesting. Some of them were kind of, after orientation, you go over to the plaza. It's called the plaza, and you are with everybody who was in your orientation class. They start you with some instructors telling you. Obviously, we went over a tire class, and we went over logs class, and there's another one that you learn how to pro maintenance. Is that pro maintenance class? So you're going through these classes while you're waiting to get your PSD trainer. I lucked out. I got my PSD trainer, I don't know, maybe 4 days after my first week of orientation. My roommate did not get hers for another week.
Well, you'll see, you came to orientation on a Monday, and if I remember correctly, you got your trainer on Tuesday of the next week. Does that sound right? You
No,
went
on
through
Monday,
the weekend.
Monday of the next week.
Okay, exactly 1 week from when you came in.
And we had been hearing that you're going to wait at least a week or two for your trainer, so I felt very lucky. And again, my roommate, she took a whole nother week before she got her trainer. So be patient with that process. You're going to get a trainer. I think you're just waiting for the instructors, people to test out, and then they have your openings. So it's a little bit of a process, but that gives you, or I looked at it as extra time to study your pre-trip. So when you do get your trainer, you're definitely more prepared.
Tell me or tell us about the experience in PSD. How's the training going? What's been easy for you? What's been more challenging for you?
When you first start that pre-trip, there's a lot. I think there's 10 pages in the pre-trip. If you can get a hold of that pre-trip beforehand, you should try to do that. Maybe ask your recruiter.
Well, I have, we have it. I have it electronically, so we can probably attach it as a document to this video.
If you can get a hold of that and study it and look over it, it's intimidating at first because you literally are memorizing 10 pages. So it's almost like you're memorizing a script.
That's exactly what it is. It's a script. Yeah.
You're memorizing a 10-page script, so you're an actor for the next couple of weeks, and kind of makes it fun when you put it that way.
But when you memorize the words, which you can start ahead of time, but the good news is you can do that before you come, and then it makes sense if you have the script memorized when you actually see the components in the truck, and you can say, oh, okay, that's the belt-driven alternator, that's the water pump, that's the slack adjuster and push rod, which, by the way, I had no idea what any of those things were before I came here. But Brooke kind of did.
I did. I've spent more time under the hood than David has, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I knew, I know where my water pump, or not where, but what my water pump is, what my coolant is, what my power steering fluid. I know how to change or check my oil. What else is in there? My alternator, brake lining.
And I think standing back from a distance and watching, it was obvious to me that Brooke got the pre-trip down. She conceptually understood it a lot faster than I did, and I was glad for that.
I think the hardest part with your pre-trip, once you make the connection to what the parts are, you have to verbalize that pre-trip to your instructor. So my understanding is that you have to say the words, perform what it is that you just said, and then repeat.
And you point to it, right? When you say perform
Well, it
what you
depends.
just said.
So there's parts of there's a safe start, and there's air brakes test. And so those are things that you're going to actually perform those parts after you say what you're going to do. And if you get a hold of that paper, you'll understand what it is I'm saying. But the verbiage, we found, the little study group that I had, we found to be the most complicated part was how to communicate to our instructor what it is that we're doing. So you're going to want to work on your verbiage.
And there are two parts on the pre-test that absolutely have to be done 100% correctly. Those being the in-cab inspection and the coupling inspection. Both are very, very important. The air brakes test is very important, so you have to have that.
Get a study buddy.
Yep.
In your orientation class, start talking to people, make some friends, be friendly. Everybody's there to do the same thing that you are. I lucked out. I ended up in a group with someone who lives 25 minutes from me in Florida. I had no idea she lives right down the street. So, and she was the best study buddy ever. We had a good time together. They have trucks down on the pad that you can practice your pre-trip on. You can literally take the hood back and start walking through the whole pre-trip.
And they're always out there,
They're always out
24/7.
there.
You can always go out to the pad anytime you want to practice that.
And it's kind of fun. So honestly, it was kind of fun.
So she started with the pre-trip, but then on day one, I think you started actually going out and she showed you some of the backing maneuvers, right?
Yeah, I want to say it was right away. Once I got my PSD instructor, we went straight out to the pad and learned our straight backing.
Then tell me about the backing. How was that for you? Did you find that to be more challenging, less challenging, or about what you expected?
Well, I kind of came here with the attitude that I'm driving and I'm going to just be driving a big vehicle. I'm just driving a bigger vehicle than normal. It's a little bit intimidating when you first get up there, but once you're behind the wheel a couple of times, you do feel like you're just driving. You almost feel like you're in driver's ed again. So listen to your instructor. They're going to give you very concrete procedures to
Reference points.
reference points for the maneuvers, but very concrete directions, to actually running your truck.
And you probably realize this, but backing up your car is a completely different proposition than turning a 53-foot trailer that is on a fifth wheel. You have to learn how to steer the back of that trailer in the opposite direction of what you're used to doing. In other words, if you want the back of the trailer to go to the left, you have to turn the wheel to the right. And somehow in your brain and how your brain's wired, that's not a natural movement. You have to do it over and over until your muscle memory, you're comfortable with it, right?
Yes. So my uncle, who, if you've been watching our videos, you saw David interviewed him, and he works for Crete. And something he had told me to help me remember was, if you have your hands on the wheel, he said, if you want a bunny to the right, your tail goes to the left. If you want a bunny to the left, your tail goes to the right. And I say that to myself all the time when I'm behind the wheel, because another person pointed out to me, you're not necessarily driving the tractor, you're driving the trailer. You're directing that trailer to go in the direction that you want it to go.
When you're backing, right? Because that's the front, that's the forward movement, is the back of the trailer.
That's correct. That's correct. So it's challenging at first to think of moving in those opposite directions because it feels a little bit wrong. But the more you do it, the more the muscle memory kicks in.
And you're comfortable, pretty comfortable with the backing maneuvers now, aren't you?
Yes. Yes.
And I'm just so pleased to hear that, because I certainly wasn't. Even up until the day before the test, I was still struggling. So not just with the pre-trip, but also with the backing maneuvers, this has come easier to my wife than it did to me. And
I want to say, embrace your mistakes, as you're gonna be making mistakes, and you're gonna be making some crazy mistakes where you're going to put yourself and your truck in a situation that you can't get out of, and your instructor's going to have to bail you out.
And the place to make those mistakes is on the pad, because the worst thing that you're going to do is run over a cone. If you don't make those mistakes there and wait until you're out in TNT and you're backing into docks, you've many times got a truck on the left and the truck on the right, and if you go out of that lane there, guess what? You've crunched your truck or trailer or that of another driver. So make your mistakes here.
And when you do make your mistakes, your instructor is going to teach you how to correct yourself. And so I feel like every time I have made that mistake, I've learned how how to make the corrections, and now I have those in my back pocket. So when I am out in the real world, I have a few ideas on how to get myself out of those situations or how to correct myself. So,
and this is not a sexist statement at all, but I never would have imagined that my wife would be a better driver than I am. But so far, she's proving to do better in her training than I did, and I'm perfectly okay with that. If she's the one that does the backing in the tight spots, if she's better at it than I am, we'll certainly embrace that. So that's what the teamwork is all about, isn't it?
teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work. All right, so we talked about your pre-trip, and we talked about your backing. Tell me a little bit about your driving experience, being out on the road with your trainer.
Wow, she said I was a good driver.
She said she was a good driver.
So, for whatever reason, I don't feel too intimidated out there driving. So, I did notice though that I had a little stress in my shoulders when I was done. So.
Has it been difficult at all figuring how to turn at corners with tracking that long trailer? How you have to go further out before you turn right or left, so that it doesn't go over into the other lane, right?
You want to get closer than you think you have to your turns, to the curbs. And you can see in your hood mirror, you think you're close, and then your hood mirror will show you have like 1.5 to 2 feet. You're still of space that you could be using, and you want to use it.
And you live by your mirrors.
You live
when
by your
any
mirrors.
turn that you're making, you're going to watch those rear wheels of your trailer in your mirror, because you're going to have to pull out far enough so that those rear wheels track around the curb on the right. Or if you're making a left-hand turn, you have to go out far enough so that the trailer doesn't move over into the left lane into oncoming or traffic. So it takes some getting used to, right?
Oh, definitely, of course.
But you've driven on the road, what, twice? 3 times?
So here's something, some of the best advice I heard was in the simulation class, which that's kind of fun too. In your simulation class, they said, okay, what did you call it? Commentary driving. And that is, as you're driving along, you're going to see your street signs or your road signs, and you read them out loud. 45 miles an hour. Exit so-and-so's coming up. That bridge is 15 foot, 8 inches high. My truck is 13 foot, 6 inches.
You can't go under
high.
Bridges that are lower than.
Pay attention. Just start reading those signs out loud. It keeps you actively involved in your driving, and if the instructor happens to ask you, what did that sign say, or what is the speed limit, or how much weight does that bridge hold, you just read it out loud to yourself, so you have it in your head. You acknowledged it already.
And if you said it to him, he may not even ask the question.
He may not even ask the question. So the whole time that I have been out on the road, I'm saying these things out loud, and I'm approaching a green light. It's been green for a minute or two now. I think I'm going to have time to make it through this green light. Oh, nope, never mind. It turned yellow. I'm going to slow down. So I've just been talking my way through my driving experience, and it kind of makes it fun, honestly.
So we won't tell you the exact day, but Brooke's just a couple days away from her test. And we hope to be back with you soon celebrating. I'm sure that we will be. And but before we close, just let me ask you, Brooke, overall, the whole experience with Prime, has Prime proven to be what you thought it would be? Has it been a positive experience so far?
I've had so much fun here. I did not expect it to be fun, but fun wasn't what I was coming here for. I was coming here to learn. It's just been a great experience. Everybody's so friendly. Everybody's encouraging. I've made a ton of friends here, and I did that by smiling and
saying hello,
saying good morning. I've had many opportunities to engage with people that, they're just sitting there at the table on their own. I said, hey, can I sit down with you? Good morning, how you doing? And The next thing I know, this person's been driving for 35 years. They've given me tons of experience, tons of advice, tons of advice from their experience, tips for driving, tips for being here. I have not met one person that works for Prime that has complained to me about being with Prime.
And it's not just drivers or students. It's the staff in the cafeteria. It's the drivers of the
shuttle drivers. The shuttle drivers I've bumped into. I've gotten to know them, and a good handful of them have either worked for Prime or are previous truck drivers. Some cafeteria people even. They're either have been with Prime for extended period of time, like 20 plus years. A lot of these people, and they just are just now doing different things within the company. They've had to stop driving for one reason or another.
And I would agree with that. I think that we're not on the payroll. I mean, we are on the payroll for Prime. We're driving for Prime, but we're not being compensated to say this. And I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it in my heart. I don't know anything about any other trucking companies, and I wouldn't say anything to disparage any of them. But for people that have come in from the outside with actually no experience or knowledge of trucking, we feel like we hit the jackpot in choosing to come to Prime. Their method of training and their method of preparing people to be successful as business owners, from what I can tell, is unmatched. The lease program is unbelievable with all of the support that they give you to be successful, and the administrative and mechanical help. I just feel like that we're on the cusp of doing something pretty special. And so we're excited for that. For those of you that are considering this as a career, please ask the questions. Put them in the comments. We have our contact information out there. I can't stress enough how positive of an experience this has been so far for us. And we hope that it continues that way. But that's what this channel is all about, just sharing with you what this has been for us. And we'll share, not so good things when they happen too, because we want to be honest and we want to be, upfront about what this has been. But so far, every single thing that we've been told has happened the way that it's been proposed. The one disappointment for Brooke was the roommate, having a roommate.
No, it wasn't disappointing. I was just a surprise.
Surprised, okay.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, but that's how they operate.
I can't think of one negative thing so far that I've come into. Bring your patience, be flexible, and I think if you bring those two things with you, you will have a good experience too.
That's right. I couldn't agree more. So that's really all we have for you today. We just wanted to take a few minutes and give you an update. There will be more of them coming in the weeks ahead. We are very close to being out there and getting a truck and getting out on the road and driving. And when we're doing that, and our life on the road is what we're going to share with you, what we're doing, places we're going, places we're eating, what it's like living on a truck 24/7 with your spouse. No, really, I'm sure it'll be fine, but I'm sure that there will be challenges for both of us along the way, because the truth is, we love each other and we're with each other a lot, but we've never been with each other 24/7, right?
That's true.
That's true. So we're going to experience that together. If we've shared something with you today that you've found helpful, please leave a comment below. Let us know of some other topics that you'd like for us to talk about. Ring the bell and subscribe. We'd love to have you as a subscriber to our channel, or share our channel with other friends that may be interested. Brooke, you got anything else right now? No?
No.
Sure you don't want to consult the list?
No.
All right. So that's it. I'm Captain Dave, and Brooke, Miss Brooke from Simple Plan Trucking. Y'all take care of the people that you love. Keep your plan simple and be safe out there. Bye for now.
Bye, y'all.